ABC 10 News at 5 starts now.
It was a rough day on Wall Street today as the Dow had its biggest decline since 2020.
And it comes after a major retailer warned that rising costs are impacting consumer behavior. Joining us now to take an in-depth look at this is financial advisor Dennis Brewster. We appreciate you joining us. Big news today. Among that, Target posted a stunning drop in profits today. What does that tell you about shoppers' habits?
Yeah, they did, and the stock was down 25%. So, what the big concern, obviously, Target's it's a bellwether. They're going to set the tone for a lot of other retailers. And of course, the concern is this a sign of things to come? Are we going into a recession? Are things slowing down? And that was obviously reflected in the market today.
Any other retailers dealing with similar issues? Apparently, part of the issue is the high cost of fuel, right?
Yeah, unfortunately, Derek, it's been across the board. So their fuel costs have gone up, their labor costs, their wage costs have gone up. In the case of Walmart's announcement the other day, too, their cost of food is going up. So all these companies are seeing their margins getting squeezed, and so their earnings are under pressure. And there's no two ways around that. The question is, too, are we going to see that spill over into the consumer and get a slowdown?
You're talking about that slowdown. What is your prediction for an upcoming recession?
They're so hard to predict, Kimberly. That's the tough part. If quite often we find out, like we could find out 6 months from now, we're in a recession today. And then by the time you find out, the recession could be close to over. So it's so hard to predict either the markets or recession and the timing of them. And really, you can get whipsawed as an investor trying to do both of that. Your best bet is just to understand that, unfortunately, recessions and market downturns are part of the process. And you just want to build your portfolio, strong enough to withstand those. Because once you start to get into trying to time them or predict them, it's just much more difficult than it looks on the surface.
And quickly, Dennis, sometimes during downturns, we see investors turn to the bond market, but that's also been awfully tough as well. What do you have to say about that?
I think that's been one of the tougher things for investors this year, Derek. There's been nowhere to hide. So quite often when the stock market is down, the bond market, you're getting a little bit of a cushion and seeing some results there. We haven't seen that. The bond market right now is in the middle of their worst year ever. So it's been a difficult year. There's just no two ways around that. Probably the best thing I could tell somebody, as hard as it's been, try not to get too caught up in that. Try to look beyond that. And just remember, too, that markets always overshoot in the short run. So don't forget that, because it's very dramatic when we're in the middle of a decline. And this one has certainly been no exception. So things will turn. We will get through this. We've been through downturns in the past, and we've gotten through them, and we'll get through this one, too.
We'll try to remember that advice. Hang on. It always happens. Dennis Brewster, always such an expertise on these issues. We appreciate your time this afternoon.
Okay, thank you for having me, Kimberly.
Thank you.